You're probably dehydrated right now and you don't even feel it yet. That's the trap. Your body doesn't send that thirst signal until you're already lost about 1.5 liters of fluid. By then, your blood pressure is already dropping, your heart is working harder, and a stress hormone called cortisol is already climbing in your brain. I'm Dr. Zaid Fadul, board-certified family physician, flight surgeon, and founder of Bespoke Concierge MD. Hydration matters more than you think, and over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the keys to solid hydration and the exact system I give every one of my patients. Stick with me, because the part about how long it actually takes to rehydrate will change how you think about water forever. Okay, let's dive in. It all started with a hot afternoon in Florida and a question nobody could answer. In 1965, University of Florida football players kept collapsing in the brutal summer heat. Some ended up in the hospital. A coach asked a simple question: why don't these players ever urinate during the game? Kidney specialist Dr. Robert Cade studied their sweat and found the answer. They were losing huge amounts of salt, potassium, and water and replacing none of it. So his team mixed water, salt, potassium, and sugar, added lemon juice to make it drinkable, and gave it to the team. The Florida Gators started winning games in the second half when opponents wilted. They named it Gatorade, and modern sports hydration was born. The lesson is simple: water alone isn't the answer. It was water plus the right balance of electrolytes the body loses. So what does getting hydration right actually do for you? More than you'd guess, including for your skin. Your body is about 60% water and every system runs on it: your heart, your muscles, your brain, and yes, your skin. When you're well hydrated, your skin holds its moisture and elasticity, looking plumper and more resilient. Dehydrated skin becomes dry, flaky, and shows fine lines more easily. It won't replace a good skincare routine, but hydration is the foundation underneath it. Here's what surprises most people: even mild dehydration, just 1 or 2% drop in body weight, slows your focus, reaction time, and energy. And it has a hidden chemical effect. When your body senses low fluid, it releases a hormone called vasopressin, which activates your stress circuitry and raises cortisol levels. A 2025 study found people with low fluid intake had cortisol spikes more than 50% higher during stress. Staying hydrated may literally help you stay calmer under pressure. Now here's where we shift from the why to the how, starting with the one move almost everyone skips. The biggest mistake I see is reactive drinking. Waiting until you're thirsty or already sweating. By then you're behind. The fix is preloading. 2 to 4 hours before activity, slowly drink about 10 to 20 ounces for an average adult. Pair it with a salty snack because the sodium in salt tells your kidneys to hold the fluid instead of flushing it out. Think of it like filling your gas tank the night before a road trip, not when the warning light comes on. Personally, I love hiking, and on long hikes, I bring lots of fluids. To save weight on the trail, I'll actually drink a 1 liter bottle of Gatorade Zero before the trek, so I start topped off without carrying all that extra weight. Okay, so you're loaded up and out the door. How much fluid do you actually need, and is more always better? A good rule of thumb: about a cup of fluid for every 30 minutes of activity. Under an hour, water is fine. Past an hour, especially in heat, add electrolytes, because without sodium, your kidneys flush the water out before your cells can use it. That sodium and water connection is the key to everything we'll talk about today, so keep it in mind. But more is not always better. Drinking too much water without electrolytes during long activity dilutes your blood sodium, a dangerous condition called hyponatremia that looks just like heat exhaustion. More water in that situation is life-threatening, so check out my video on heat exhaustion versus heat stroke so you're prepared. The rule: drink to thirst during prolonged exercise, and don't forget your electrolytes. But timing and fluid type are only part of it, because some of your hydration never comes from a bottle at all. Here's something most people never think about. Hydration isn't only about what's in your glass, it's also about what's on your plate. In fact, food provides roughly 20% of your daily water intake. But food works in both directions, and this is the part that surprises many patients. Some foods actually pull water out of you. Digestion isn't free. Your body uses water to break down and process what you eat. Foods that are very high in salt, sugar, or protein require more water to metabolize, which can leave you a little more dehydrated if you're not drinking enough alongside them. Think salty chips, cured meats, and heavy, high-protein meals. That salty restaurant dinner isn't making you thirsty by accident. Your body genuinely needs more fluid to handle the sodium load. Other foods do the opposite. They hydrate you. Water-rich fruits and vegetables are essentially hydration you can chew. Watermelon, cucumber, and pineapple are around 90% water or more, and they come bundled with natural electrolytes and a little sugar that actually helps your body absorb and hold on to that fluid. That same sodium and glucose principle I mentioned earlier. Other great options: oranges, strawberries, celery, lettuce, and melon of any kind. When I go diving or handle the summer heat here in Arizona, watermelon is a staple of my diet. In my family, you can't really be a Fadul if you don't love watermelon. So here's a simple tactical move. If you know you're heading into a hot day, a flight, or a workout, build your meals around water-rich foods and go easy on the salty, sugary processed stuff. You're hydrating before you ever pick up a water bottle. And here's something almost nobody accounts for. You're losing water right now just by breathing. Every exhale carries moisture out, about 300 to 400 milliliters a day at rest before you sweat at all. Dry air makes it worse. Airplane cabins drop below 10% humidity, drier than the Sahara Desert, quietly dehydrating you for the whole flight. That's actually why, despite all the ridiculous fees airlines charge, they still offer free drink service. They don't want passengers stepping off the plane with a headache and blaming it on the airline. I live in Phoenix, and desert living does the same thing, pulling water out of you with every breath. And scuba diving hits twice. The dried compressed air strips your airway, while water pressure triggers something called immersion diuresis, making you urinate even more. Divers can lose 2 to 3 liters per dive without noticing. So you're losing water in ways you never noticed. The real question is, once you fall behind, how long does it take to actually catch up? Here's that answer I promised you at the start. Your body depletes fluid in stages. First, it pulls from your blood plasma. Volume drops, your heart works harder, and your kidneys start to conserve. As you keep losing water, your body uses osmosis to pull water out of your cells, which is your reserve. That's why deep dehydration causes cramps and mental fog. Once you reach that stage of pulling water from your cells, refilling the deficit is slow. With electrolytes, a 2% loss takes about 4 to 6 hours to fully restore. With plain water alone, it can take 12 to 20 hours. The key thing to remember, do your best not to fall behind in the first place, because catching all the way back up can take a full day. For a good breakdown on electrolytes, check out my video linked above. So, how do you read your own body? There's a simple signal, but it has a catch most people get wrong. There are 3 levels of dehydration: mild, thirst, dry lips, a mild headache; moderate, strong thirst, dizziness when you stand, a fast heart rate; and severe, confusion and almost no urine, which is a 911 emergency. Now here's a signal I teach all my patients. Everyone says check your urine color, but that's only half right. B vitamins make your urine bright neon yellow, and your body simply pees out the excess. So a bright color can actually fool you into thinking you're fine or even overhydrated. That's why I tell patients, don't obsess over color. The one exception, if your urine is ever dark amber or brown, that color does matter, so drink immediately or seek care. Every other time, focus on how often you go to the bathroom. A well-hydrated adult urinates about every 3 to 4 waking hours, roughly 5 to 7 times a day. Much more than that, and you're probably overdoing the water. Going to the bathroom 5 or more hours apart is a sign you're falling behind. It may be annoying going to the bathroom every few hours, but it helps keep you from sitting all day and protects against UTIs. This all brings up the real question, how much water do you need? Because it's not the same for everyone. Here's the honest truth. There's no single magic number. Your needs shift with your body size, activity level, the heat, your altitude, and even your medications. Looking at you, GLP-1s, which impact hydration levels via 4 different mechanisms. A 200-pound man hiking in Scottsdale in July needs far more than a 130-pound woman working in an office in Ohio. So instead of chasing a number, use a system. I call it the WT WOOT check. Weight, urine, thirst. That's it. W is for weight. Check it regularly. A sudden 2-pound drop overnight is usually fluid, not fat. So add it back, roughly 16 to 24 ounces per pound lost. U is for urine. Track frequency. Aim for a bathroom break every 3 hours while you're awake. Only worry about color if it's dark amber or brown. And T is for thirst. In heat or before planned activity, drink before you feel thirsty. As a baseline, it's fine to aim for 8 cups of water daily as a floor. Then adjust up for heat, body size, and exertion, using how often you're hitting the bathroom to dial it in. And here's the best part. If you do just these 3 checks, you're doing better than 90% of the people walking around tired, foggy, and blaming everything but dehydration. This is a free lab test you can run on yourself every single day. Now, what about IV fluids? Patients ask me this constantly. IV fluids are the right call for severe dehydration, uncontrolled vomiting, heat illness, true emergencies. They can also help with a rough hangover in the right situation, which I covered in a separate video linked above. But for healthy people, the research shows IV fluids restore plasma volume faster, yet offer no meaningful advantage in performance or recovery over simple drinking. The main benefit of IV fluids is time, so you have to ask yourself if a $200 IV treatment is worth saving a few hours of waiting after drinking a $3 bottle of Powerade. My position, oral rehydration first for mild and moderate cases, save IVs for major fluid deficits. Hydration is a system, not a guess. Preload before activity, add sodium when it counts, give yourself hours to truly recover, track how often you urinate rather than the color, and treat plains, deserts, and scuba diving as real dehydration risks, all adjusted to your body and your environment. If you want this kind of thinking working for you, that's exactly what Bespoke Concierge MD is built for, a real physician relationship, not a rush 7-minute visit. The link is in the description. Membership spots are limited because we work personally with every patient. Save this video to review before summer and big trips. Now, if you want to get smart about hydration and all its benefits, the video on the right covers electrolytes and why they matter. The playlist on the left covers hydration and related health issues in detail. And hit subscribe. I publish evidence-based medical content every week that could change your life. See you in the next video.